The Connor. He pulled a Connor.
Oh my god.
Not quite as bad as pulling a Connor,
Fucking
but
hell.
like this was still at least someone else's fault. Connor looks like he broke his own damn ankle, but like
He
Connor,
definitely did break his own ankle.
Connor ruined his career.
I'm sure
Because
it's not that hard.
Indy's different. Like Indy is like, if I'm DPing something and I'm like, hey Eric, I want you to gaff, then you're gonna crew up and call all your people, right? But in the union, even if you were a 52 gaffer, right? Don't drop the soap.
Don't drop the soap unless you're into that sort of thing, or unless that's your only option.
Stop the work and fucking hold for everything.
By the way, this is the Hold for Everything podcast. This is episode 16, and go.
Eric's trying to use me as clickbait. No, it's for just some production company, but they sent me the teaser to the documentary. It looks really, really cool. It really does.
it's always nice to work on shit that like actually seems interesting.
Yeah, and it's about this restaurant, not a restaurant, a club in Roslyn, and like the Ramones got their start there. Jimi Hendrix played there. Fucking, was it Jimi Hendrix? I'm pretty sure it was. And then there was like there's a ton of bands that just used to go there, and then it was like mafia related and whatever. It's a really interesting story, but the way they did it is kind of like, it's cool. It's really cool.
How long are you on that?
It's they've been working on it for 4 years, and they're doing it. Yeah, they're doing it sporadically. So it's
Call
like,
it quits, bro. It's done.
after tomorrow, like my next day is in August. So they've been doing it like 2 days here, 2 days there. That's why it's taking so long.
Okay, I see that.
And where are you shooting? Or is it's different places?
It's different all the time. Today we were on the west side somewhere.
I think I'm by you tomorrow. We're shooting some First We Feast show. Snacked.
Oh, you're fuck. I'd love to work on First We Feast.
Got you, boy. I can't even. I really have no pull at all, so I don't know why I said I got you. I'm sorry. I got nothing for you.
I know you do that all the time, where you just promise things.
Who are you working with, Eric?
As far as like people or celebrities?
No, like
those are two different things.
Producers and
Yeah, any producers that we might know?
No, I don't think you guys know them. Right. James Quinn is the person who hired me. We worked on he was the UPM on Christmas Wedding, which is on Netflix as we speak.
Nice.
Go check it out. It's not a good plug. Can I talk shit about the movie? Do you think anybody's watching this?
Do you? How much do the people that are the responsible for hiring you care?
Anyway, the first topic is
the answer. The answer to that question. The first question is yes. The first answer is yes. The second answer is no. So yes, talk shit. No, they don't watch.
I mean the
yeah, it's very unlikely that they watch this. Almost nobody does. So
whatever. Make a long story short, we were filming. They kept talking about how it was first of all, they shot a Christmas movie in the middle of the summer. And
I've done that as the DP, and I gotta say, fuck that shit.
Yeah, fuck that shit, number one. And then number two, they kept talking about how it's going to Netflix, and all I did was laugh in their face. I said, like, we're all just like, guys, are you watching the same thing we are? This shit's not going to Netflix. I don't care who you know, who your mom is, who your dad is. This shit
Joke's on you, Eric.
Right?
Joke's on me.
Netflix.
Went right to Netflix, and I said, ain't nobody watching this fucking movie. I go to my aunt's house 6 months later.
She's watching a movie.
She's a very conservative lady. I don't want to say she's racist, but it was surprising when I found out that she was watching this very diverse, very POC Christmas
Eric
movie.
With the familial call outs. He was worried about insulting producers, but his family fucking
last step he called out his cousin. This step is this her mom?
No, this is the other side of my family.
Gotcha.
A callback, like throwback a little bit to Jess's documentary, that whole like filming over 4 years thing. My I have friends that are like in the film industry as well that are also working on basically like a forever documentary that is about the what is it, the technically oldest international golf tournament in the fucking world. Yeah, so every year they go, it switches between some place in New York and some place in Canada because technically that's international. And they're like, we're gonna try and make a 30 for 30 out of all this dumb shit.
And
Honestly,
when
though,
do you
that's kinda
decide to
cool.
stop though?
I don't know. That's the thing. I think there's like last. Now I think they didn't because it probably didn't happen last year though. It is in like late summer, so there's a chance. But I don't think we could. It depends on where it was. If it was in Canada, they couldn't have done it. But
Yeah, you still can't go to Canada.
yeah. So, but I bet if that border opens
They're
this
gonna,
year,
yeah.
they're probably doing it. Like it's been at least 3 or 4 years, probably even longer than that. I don't know when you stop doing it. I guess they're prioritizing. They're like going down the list, prioritizing like all the older people who are like about to die,
Mm-hmm.
and slowly interviewing the getting younger as they go on, so they can like get all the relevant people before they're all gone.
That's
But it
kind
is
of
like,
cool.
yeah, if they compile like enough interesting footage, like if they get, there's probably archival footage of it too and shit.
Yeah.
So like if they compile it well and edit it well, it's like, yeah, that could be like one of those ESPN Plus exclusive 30 for 30s. Might
Yeah.
not be the most money you ever make, but also
Yeah.
the cost is nothing because they both already, like both of them
Oh, they're
are
just doing it on their own
yeah,
in
they
hopes that it'll get sold.
yeah, but they are, it's equipment they own. I helped them show up how I showed them how to do like interview sound because
Mhm.
it's not complicated.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think there's almost no cost to them basically.
I mean, even if it doesn't get sold, if they make it good enough, I'm sure they could toss it up on YouTube
See,
to
yeah.
actually like gain
Yeah.
some sort of anything.
This
Yeah.
one's a bit different. Like, I just think it's not
Oh
finished.
yeah, yours is
because-
a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's just
interesting.
not finished. Not even that. I think it's just more not finished because the guy who's directing it is like, he's a huge. I don't know if he's huge, but he seems huge. He's got a lot of money. Well, again, I'm not sure, but he's a doc guy. He directs docs. Like that's what he does. So I think, like I know the story was just like a family friend knew this guy and approached him and was like, "Hey, listen to his story." So I think it's just kind of that situation where like he's busy, so he shoots it when he can shoot it, kind of thing.
Yeah, especially if like that's a specialty documentary director.
Yeah.
Like there's a million documentaries still, and none of them pay great. So you're probably, if you're known in that industry, you probably are jumping around an awful lot to
Well,
to do that.
if you land on something hot,
I'm actually
you-
gonna look him up right now. 'Cause I'm
and if you
curious
can somehow make a sequel out of it, not a sequel but a follow up, they're gonna pay top dollar for it because I feel
I
like
don't know. Is that
documentaries
true?
are a
I was
big
just
thing.
gonna say, is that true in the doc world as it is like in the narrative world? If you make a kick-ass movie,
I
they're
think
gonna give you more to
the
make your
people who
second.
made How to Get Away with Murder or whatever that shit was, Making a Murderer, they had to make so much money off the second season, even
Do
though the
you
second
think
season
they
wasn't
did
as good.
though, or do you think Netflix did? Because there's a big difference.
Well, they probably paid the same people that did the first one to make sure that it came out similar. So I would imagine they made a shit ton of money on it, even though it wasn't as good.
Well,
But
it's probably harder to lie about so many things in the second season.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, so apparently he's a pretty big deal. And the documentary that I'm working on comes up on Google when you type it. So,
oh, it does.
yes.
Well, it's also. I mean, it's been going on for 4 years. It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it's still as nice to be working with someone who's like in it.
Well, he gave me. I've always wanted to do docs because, like, for me as a DP, I watch docs. I love documentaries, but also as a DP to pick up your camera, grab some lights, and just go. I like that. So he actually gave me some really, really good advice when we were talking. He hired me for some corporate thing on Monday, and he drove me home and we were talking. He gave me some really, really decent advice, and I really appreciate it.
I'm gonna need you to stop working so that we can film the podcast.
I apologize. We're filming now.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Eric's moving to Astoria. This is now just a Zoom podcast because we're never getting him to come to Crown Heights to pick me up, to drive to Rockaway.
Listen, COVID is over. I'll drive you home. COVID's over. You take the train to Jess.
In a couple months, I'll be living in Bushwick or further up, or up in Bed-Stuy, probably.
So it'll be easier or harder to get to Jess?
Also, Eric just doxed me.
Did I?
You said where I live.
Oh, I said the neighborhood you lived in.
Oh, I'm just
Jake's doxed you.
I was kidding. I was kidding anyway. Because I thought it was Eric. I was trying to make him feel bad.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was like, first of all, Jake knows more than anybody. It's impossible for me to dox you because I never know where the fuck you live.
The amount of times we've ended up somewhere else first while driving to
we
your
ended
house.
up at a car wash the first time we tried to get to your house.
No, that was the second time, which was even more impressive because we had already been there. Like that, it was we ended not a car wash.
It was an auto parts.
Yeah, it was our mechanic. I think
it was a mechanic. It was a mechanic that whatever.
We don't have to get into that story, but we had already been there the week before, which was like, why am I giving myself credit for a mistake? How did you mess that up? I was a passenger.
Whatever. I was kind of hoping that we would film while I was in Texas, so that I could wear a cowboy hat or something stupid.
Dude, how did you get stuck in Texas? Like you texted, like, "Oh, I'm stuck in Texas." How did you get stuck in Texas?
I don't even know.
How does one get stuck in Texas? Just buy a plane ticket and go home.
That's not how life works.
That is how life works when it's your life. You don't have to wait for people to do what you want to do.
You literally have to wait on the person who flies the plane. If there's nobody,
I'm pretty certain I saw on Eric's story on Instagram. I think I saw that his flight got canceled or some shit.
Okay.
Get a new one.
Get a new one.
That's
Eric spends
also,
money on all sorts of dumb, unrelated shit. Just buy another ticket, idiot.
Okay, fuck you guys. What do I buy? What I haven't bought anything not stupid.
You just said you literally before. I'm gonna blow your spot up right now.
What's up?
Before you got on the pod, Jake, we were sitting here and Eric's like, "No, I'll set him up for next time." Like, what are you gonna set up for next time? He's like, "Oh, I bought these trashy wireless headphones, and I just thought I'd use them."
Yeah, you know why I bought them? You know why I bought them? Because I was stuck in an airport and I had nothing else to fucking. I don't have iPhone.
Eric, don't use wireless headphones for the podcast.
Why it won't work?
Well, if they're trashy wireless headphones, the Bluetooth connection is probably not gonna be that great, and you're gonna hear everything we say on a minor delay. Well, not that long, but like if they're wireless, they're probably Bluetooth, so they're communicating that way. And sometimes that shit doesn't line up great, and you're gonna be like just even seconds behind on a regular conversation makes it difficult for you to be a part of the conversation without seeming like you're just kind of not paying attention.
We're gonna be like, "Hey, so what do you think, Eric?" And he's gonna be like,
"Oh yeah, we're gonna get the news delay. We're gonna get, but we for no reason, because we're not like remotely recording from across distances like that are so." With with like nice ass cameras and all that shit. It's like, no, we're on a Zoom thing. The internet's fast enough for us to be able to pull this off. But we're gonna ask a question. Eric's gonna be staring at the camera, just like.
I gotta say though.
Oh yeah, and like it's gonna be that. It's going to be.
Have you seen news bloopers? Because they're honestly my favorite fucking thing to watch.
See, we would go viral because of my mistakes.
No, we wouldn't, because they wouldn't be nowhere near as entertaining. They'd just be annoying for us to record.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, long story short, I got stuck in Texas. My first mistake was I bought a round trip with Spirit Airlines, and on the way back,
Spirit Airlines are our third sponsor for this show.
Yeah. Just along with what's the name of the bar?
Bungalow Bar.
Bungalow Bar. Shout out to Bungalow Bar. You guys never whatever. Anyway.
What are you talking about?
They never what?
What?
They never what, Eric?
They never, they never gave us a shout out. They never,
Did we tag them? Did we put them in a
No,
title?
here-
Did we email them?
did, yeah,
we
we-
ask them?
We tagged them and they liked something, so that we sent out the feelers. They just didn't.
Did
they
they
didn't
actually?
bite.
Did they
Yeah, they actually liked one of our things, which, by the way, is the most we could expect from like episode 3 of this podcast.
Wait,
Like,
dude,
well-
none of you told me that because I could like walk up to the bar and be like, "Look, this is my podcast," and get free fucking beer.
Well, yeah, but you
Crazy.
said you don't use Instagram, so you would have known that. But now that
Well,
you're
I'm
like
back on
kind of back
Instagram,
on,
though, yeah.
okay, cool. So you can
Kind
like,
of. You're right. Kind of. I'm like half on, half on.
No, fuck that. We need somebody to like share the shit and let them know that we have a podcast.
Well, if they liked it, if they liked it, they know.
Well, here's the problem. Since that clip, I don't think we've been back. Like what we
Yeah.
intended to make our like after, like
yeah, I think the week
pod,
after
yeah, was
was
like
the last week that we.
We should
What did
ask
you-
them. We should be like, "Hey, can we do an after show inside the bungalow bar?" And see if they let us.
they'll probably be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" It's
Honestly, I don't think
It's
so.
post COVID, and we need all the business we can get. We can't shut down the bar for you guys to record.
Well,
Dude,
no, we could
they
go.
close super early.
We could go outside. They have a back deck.
Oh yeah, for the summer that's possible.
They also have a back room. They have 2 different rooms. So the room
Sure.
we were in, there's also a room in the back.
It'll sound like absolute shit
I
while
can
we're-
manage that.
while we're outside.
Yeah.
Do not-
It's right
do
by the
not
water,
doubt Jake's ability. Okay.
No, I don't. But it is right by the water. It's
Yeah,
literally
but
like-
we have dynamic microphones, and we have.
Yeah, we do.
You don't even know what that means.
I just know I bought them.
We have all the shit to make it like short range enough to, we'll probably have ocean background noise, but we'll like our
That's
voices will be
soothing.
over that, and it'll be kind of fine.
That's soothing. That's so soothing. I would be like, "Ooh, what's this podcast on the beach?"
People are
But,
just watching us from the inside. They're like, "What the fuck are they
What's
doing?"
silly is like we're gonna be if it happens, we would have our recording set up out there, which is just what 3 different phones. Like,
Dude,
we
the
could
wind,
we
the
could
wind
do a
blows,
Zoom
and our
episode.
cameras just
We
fall
could
over.
our wide shot just flops over.
We could do a Zoom episode from Bungalow Bar.
with us all sitting there.
Yeah, like a 360, like
This is
70s show.
embarrassing.
Oh yeah, like the circle from the '70s show. I don't know if I want to do that.
I
but-
guess we could do that. Well, no, that would probably fuck with the audio too, because you would just hear me on your mic.
No, not if you have headphones. They're dynamic microphones, Eric.
Yeah, well then we'd all have to have audio interfaces, and I don't think Eric does. It doesn't matter. We're not.
I mean,
We're
it
not
wasn't.
doing
To
that.
be honest, it wasn't a serious suggestion. I was just kind of fucking around.
Anyway, I got stuck in Texas
Good for you.
for a day. That was it. My Spirit Airlines flight got canceled. No, first
Did
it
your
got
pilot quit? Like, what the fuck happened?
no, it got no because
Did your pilot quit?
No, this was during all like the.
That would be the best story. Was just like Eric sitting at the terminal and just watches a meltdown. Just this dude who he starts walking towards the plane and just drops his bag. He's like, "Can't fucking do this anymore. I went to school for this. I'm getting paid like nothing. I just can't do this anymore." And then
No way
just
he's
walks
getting paid
away.
nothing.
And Eric then 10 minutes later gets a message. We don't have a pilot. We can't fly Spirit Airlines right now.
Your pilot has now got a job at Delta. Sorry.
Oh, he upgraded.
Yeah, do you think that's like all pilots' dreams to leave Spirit and just bump up to a different, much
Yeah.
better airline?
If they work for Spirit, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I felt bad for them. Everyone was just fucking screaming at these people. I was like, "There's nothing like they can do."
They're the
What-
workers, yeah. I've never been a fan of that.
I was like, "They're." I mean, it was annoying though, because I literally, I paid for cheap tickets and then all they did was give me a refund, and they were like, "We don't have any other flights." And I was like, "What do you mean you don't have any other flights? How am I supposed to get home?" They were like, "Well, we
That's your
rescheduled."
problem.
Yeah. I was
Well,
like,
they
"What do you mean?"
refunded you, so that's how you're gonna get home.
I'm just looking at what Jess is doing on this dock right now.
I know
What's happening?
I fucked it up. I'm
Just
sorry.
just hit Control Z. Thank you. We don't have to watch all these, obviously. Anyway, yeah. So it got delayed like 3 times, and then it was like 8 o'clock, and they were like, "Yeah, it got canceled," and everyone was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then it turned into this whole thing. All I got was a refund. I was like, "Well, are you guys gonna pay for me to like go to sleep tonight before I get a flight tomorrow?" And they were like, "Nah, we don't do that." I'm like, "What?"
They're like, nah, you booked Spirit.
You realize all you have to do is pull a Karen and like literally call corporate. Don't ask them for the number. Just like literally
I did
call corporate.
corporate. I did call corporate. It
And they didn't
work.
give you. So then you
No,
don't,
they-
you don't know.
corporate-
I would have got shit. I would
corporate-
have been like, yo,
Corporate
you're paying
gave
for
me
my
a
hotel.
corporate gave me a refund, and that was it.
Corporate, remember, we're talking about Spirit Airlines. We're not
Yeah.
talking about someone who like cares about their reputation.
Yeah. Also, they were
Despite
like,
sponsoring our show, they're still going to do it despite us talking shit about them.
they were also
because they're-
like, they said it also. They were like, we can give you the refund, but we can't provide you with anything because technically it wasn't our fault that the flight was canceled. It
What do
was
you
because
mean?
it was because of the weather. Because my flight was into Newark. And that's when we were getting all the thunderstorms and shit down here. This is like a day or two after New York was underwater.
Oh yeah, I took a bus to Boston, and what took me like 3 hours on that bus to realize was in the middle of a tropical storm. So that was fun.
Was I here?
Everyone was here.
Yeah,
you were here.
You didn't see that footage of like the flooded subways and shit?
Oh, the subways. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, it was that. It was.
But
I mean,
I've also been like working nonstop for over
Yeah.
a month now. I'm ready to like. I didn't even know today was fucking Wednesday.
Dude, you texted me.
yeah,
that
that was a fun thing earlier where you were like,
I was
Bro,
like,
she
I
and then
was
she
like,
had
let's
me
just do it
confused.
tomorrow.
I texted my friend. I said, "Oh shit, we don't even have to shoot the podcast today because it's Tuesday." And she goes, "What?" And I go, "What do you mean, what?" I said, "Jess just told me that it's Tuesday." She goes, "Are you fucking?"
Eric with no trust in his own brain
Right?
had to learn from a third party that it was Wednesday as opposed to be like, no, Jess, you're wrong.
When you guys texted me that, I was dying laughing. I was like, oh my god, I need to sleep.
Bro, I really almost like changed all my plans because I thought it was Tuesday.
I got excited too. I was like, oh look, it's Tuesday. We could just film tomorrow.
I'm the only one who knows how to keep a schedule, apparently, which is sad because I really don't.
Not your thing, but we've made it your thing.
You
It
know
has
what's
to be your thing.
funny? I'm very good at keeping my schedule, but I don't give a fuck what day it is. I think I'm more like on the weekend, I'll be like, okay, I have work this day, this day, this day, and then I just go. And I don't stop. And then when I stop, I'm like, oh, okay. But I just over a month have been on the move. I'm ready to take a fucking vacation.
No, we don't take vacations here. All right. Unless it's Texas and you want to get stuck.
Why'd you go to Texas?
Bachelor party?
Oh, yeah, you told me about that dumb shit.
Oh my God.
Well,
Oh, right.
we
and
told
I
you
saw
last
your-
week.
yeah.
Like,
yeah. And you said, why would you go to Texas for a bachelor party? Why not go to where?
New
New
Orleans.
Oh, Texas. It was cool.
He says, covering his mouth.
It was
You
nice.
guys know, I didn't tell you this. Do you guys know it's actually a shit show, so I'm happy I didn't, but I almost flew on Monday to Mississippi to film a movie for
I think you
another
did-
10
you
days.
did-
You texted
I
us
tell you-
about
I
it, but
did?
not
Yeah.
details. You didn't tell us
Yeah.
details,
Did.
just the possibility.
What was it for?
A Morgan Freeman movie.
Oh yeah, Morgan Freeman. I
Ooh.
remember that.
It's like tier 2, but my friend is actually on it, and it's a fucking shit show.
But it's
Yeah,
got Morgan
but, like,
Freeman. How could it be a
yeah.
shit
Well,
show?
I actually said that in the text message. She was telling me all the shit that was going on, like a ton of shit. AD fought with the DP. They both left. Second AD was dating the first AD, so
Wait,
he
they
left.
both left?
Yeah, because the DP
Why
like
did they both
assaulted
leave?
the DP like assaulted the AD, And apparently,
Oh.
like, production didn't fire the DP, so the
Oh,
AD was
is
like,
that
"Fuck
frowned
y'all,
upon?
I'm out." Well, no,
Jess,
like
I thought
not
you had
not
full
like
permission to beat
no.
someone down if you were the DP.
Yeah, well, no. If they assault someone, yeah, but it was opposite. The DP assaulted them, but it was not a sexual assault. It was a physical assault.
That's better.
I find that
crashed.
sexual assaults are often physical, but
Whatever. And then the truck crashed. The fucking
yes.
my friend who was the gaffer had to fill in for the new DP that they were flying out, but they still don't have a second AD or a first AD. And I'm like, you know what? Thank God I went to my corporate job where I threw up 2 light panels and called it a day.
Bruh, you didn't even like recommend me and Eric to fill in those AD jobs?
I would have went to Mississippi and just been like this.
It's union.
Let's go. Let's keep this going.
My friend's the only one who's not union on there. So even like Grip and Electric is all like LA union.
And it was only 10 days.
It was just so that's why my friend was hired in the first place. They fired the gaffer because the gaffer was like slacking off or whatever and wasn't doing the job properly, so they fired the gaffer. They're shooting in like rattlesnake territory. It's like it's wild. And
wasn't
like,
the DP the one who hired the gaffer in the first place?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's how it works in big sets. Like, I think like if you're Roger Deakins or somebody, you could be like, oh, I want my gaffer. But I don't know if it like works if you're just like a random union DP, because then you would have to hire a union gaffer. So your gaffer would have to be union. So I don't know.
I would assume that like if you're Roger Deakins, you're probably using a union gaffer. Even if it's your guy, he's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, or if you're somebody like that, or like Rachel Morse, like somebody who's got a name as a DP and your gaffer's not in the union, you could probably be like, hey, I want them on my set. Yeah. Like, let them join.
If you're a big enough name in a high enough position, you can probably get at least 1 or 2 people regardless of their status. But
100%.
Yeah, you probably do have to be that level. Otherwise, you probably are just on getting people from just the union role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine you not being. I'm sure they're, I'm sure it's not that hard.
Indie's different. Like, Indie is like, if I'm DPing something and I'm like, hey, Eric, I want you to gaff, then you're going to crew up and call all your people. Right? But in the union, even if you were a 52 gaffer, right? And I was like, and I'm a 600 DP, and I'm like, I'm shooting a movie, Eric, gaff for me. The union's going to crew you up. You don't crew yourself up.
But I'm sure if they wanted to, they could.
52 specifically.
Well, you could probably put in for names, but they won't. They probably won't let straight up just give you everyone you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because they have to keep their membership satisfied.
50 and 52 is like a union that gets you jobs. So like they do go down their list. Like even if like if somebody calls out, they go down their list, and then if all the union people don't, there's like a list of like people who like it's like a permit holder, and then you go through permit holders, and then if nobody from the permit holders can do it, they go to regular schmegular people.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole point of, well, not the whole point, but like one of the biggest points of joining a film union is that type of thing. If you're in anything behind the camera, it's like, oh, if you're in, hypothetically speaking, at least, you should get jobs just because people are hiring and you're a union. Yeah,
600 don't, because 600's trash. 600's a trash union, honestly.
Yeah,
they're gonna see this.
I was just gonna say I shouldn't shit talk because like. I really want to be in 600 one day, but
it's okay. They're not.
You're not currently.
Get your members jobs, homies, and then we won't be having this conversation.
Yeah. They are not watching this. It'll be okay.
You know what? They barely have any followers on Twitter. So if we were to talk about it and tag them on Twitter, they'd mention it.
All right, so let's do it. I
bet you, because they have like 60 followers.
I'll clip it out. I'll clip it out and let's make it happen. Fuck 600. Come at us, bro.
What I can't remember it off the top of my head. Does Locations have its own union, or is it part of production union?
Might be part of production.
I feel like they overlap in such, because like basically if you're on an indie, the first thing that gets absorbed into production is Locations. But
we
like,
might get cut off if you
We're
want to
definitely gonna get cut
restart
off.
this location conversation in 5 seconds because we have
We
less
can-
than
yeah,
a
sure.
minute.
Let's just reload this.
Copy.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. That is probably the closest one I am to being a part of.
I actually did look it up, and I don't know if it's like right, but it says the Teamster union. You're in the same union as the Teamsters, so $3.99.
Really?
But that's
That's
also
interesting.
it. Also says Hollywood. So,
Well,
but
it
I
might
would
not be New
assume,
York's.
yeah, but I would assume it would be the same, like, because you can transfer. So I would assume it would be like
Yeah.
if it's not $3.99, it might still be the Teamster union. But that's weird.
Well, I mean, you do work with a lot of Teamsters on locations. Like half of the job is like pre-production, and that's mostly securing permits and stuff like that. And then the other part of it is basically making sure on location shit doesn't get fucked up, and then also making sure everything with like your trucks and all that shit is really good. Like it is like most of the things that I've done that take some problem solving on locations jobs have been working with people who are like in charge of transpo and trucks and stuff to like make sure that their shit's all right. It's a lot easier to just like
You got to
be in
get
the
their
house.
spots
Yeah.
secured and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, it gets like, you know, get the spots down, and then like for like certain trucks, like, oh, we need like water supply for certain trucks. You need like these things for like they all have different kind of necessary things. So it's easy. It's actually not too big of a leap to be like, oh, you might be in the same union just because of how often you're coordinating with them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that does make sense, I guess.
but like it's still surprising because I think like
I thought they'd be in production for sure.
same. I thought if they weren't their own thing, they'd probably be a production union. But you know, it is.
There's
what
also
it is.
like randomly, seriously random as hell in 52 is props. So lighting, grip, and props is so strange. To me, that's a weird one. That's like, why is props there?
Yeah.
You talking shit about props?
No, I'm just saying, why the hell are they in 52 with the grips and the electrics?
Yeah. It is probably just like props is so small. I mean, it's probably the same as locations. So small you can't really form your own thing because there's like what 1 to 2 props masters on even big productions. Like
What about production design? Because set deck is also part of 52 actually, but I don't think production design is.
that's interesting. Well, yeah, art is its own union. Like
Yeah, but
Is
then
it?
wouldn't props be under art?
And set deck, I'm gonna check.
is set deck in 52?
Mm-hmm.
This is this is going to be an interesting podcast that's only appealing to like we've talked nothing about films. We've talked specifically about like the behind the scenes bullshit. Eric being trapped in Texas.
This
and
is
what union would you belong in?
Oh,
if you were-
excuse me. They're not even in a numbered union. They literally get a fucking guild. Fuck off.
ooh, I want a guild.
Use you.
So
I want a
props
guild.
is a guild.
The
All
art
right.
directors guild.
Art guild.
I want a guild.
Right?
guild.
Well, you could. You're a writer, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
you would be.
But I think you have to like, what do you have to do to? You have to write like spec scripts and shit to get in.
I know.
Eric, what's the
Uh,
fuck? What's up with those glasses, man?
Yeah, right?
Sorry. What are we looking up? What are we looking up?
I'm looking up how to become a member.
You know, you have a screen share. You have a screen. You have a screen share. You can
You can share this information to
let's
let the
let's
world know how to become part of the Writers Guild.
I mean, if
Because
you
they-
want to know so badly, fine.
because they couldn't Google themselves. And here we are. Jake, look up.
Happy?
Yes, I just wanted Jake to laugh.
In order to be eligible for current membership, a writer must acquire a minimum of 24 units in the 3 years preceding. What
That's
units?
crazy. I think units is like you have to have like the same thing as hours
Is
on the
that
call
credits?
sheet. Yeah.
Oh,
I would
Jesus.
assume. That's fucking wild. What's the startup fee? Okay, but your dues are not that much. You pay $100 a year and then only 2,500 to get in.
Yeah, I was gonna say they always have a big
Wait,
one.
what's 24 units? Does that mean I need 24 writing gigs?
I think so.
Basically, or
There you go. It
credits.
says it right here. Schedule of units. For each complete week of employment within the guild's jurisdiction on a week-to-week basis. So that's basically you would have to work on a union show. And that's another thing I hate about unions. To get into the union, most of them, you have to work on the union set. But to work on a
Right,
union
but do
set, you have to be in the union.
But do I have to work as a writer on the union set, or do I just have to work on the set?
2 units, 3 units, story for a radio or television program. No, you have to write. You definitely have to write.
So yeah, 2 units is basically week-long things as long as you're working on a project.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Well-
also get credit for radio shows.
And that would be
So even
3 units.
non-union-
So you get
Yeah,
more
non-union
credits.
radio shows at less than 30 minutes still count. So you'd think that if you have 2 of those, you already have 6.
Wait, so Jake, do you know Jasmine
Jasmine,
Hardy?
not off the top.
Eric does. She could be in the union.
Why does she actually write for the show though?
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
she just produces for it.
but she comes up with their topics.
Yeah, but I don't think that count. Like that doesn't. I don't think that would count.
This says created by credit story for a radio or television program. That's what she
don't-
does.
I mean,
but it
24
never says. I don't think her credits are created by though. I think it just says like.
No, but it says,
associated
but right
with
here,
the-
look,
or-
story for a radio or television program. That's what she does, or breakdown for a non-primetime serial. So that's
Maybe,
what
yeah.
That's what she does.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
I mean, Eric, all you gotta do is write a screenplay for a feature-length theatrical motion picture, radio play or teleplay, 90 minutes or longer, and you're
That's
in.
it.
Yeah, just one.
wait, look, there's more.
What about the short films? Does that count for anything?
No,
Oh fuck.
I mean, probably does. I'm just not willing to
Read all of it, yeah.
comedy
Oh,
variety.
documentaries. New or unique cases. That's definitely Eric.
Eric is a new and unique case. This is our union episode, apparently.
Yeah,
The union episode.
I stopped sharing.
Anyway, to follow up on the writer stuff, we could talk about a topic that's really old, but I'm only mentioning it because I need to get us out of this.
We can talk about the finals.
No.
Let's
Who
go
won?
Suns.
Who won today's game?
Bucks.
The Bucks.
So it's 2-2.
Yeah, evened up the series, and it was
Damn.
a good game.
That's wild.
I didn't get to
'cause-
watch it yet, but I saw the score.
And everyone
Oh,
thought
it was
Suns were gonna
down
blow
to
it
the
out,
wire. No,
Uh,
that was 2 days ago. That was last game that the Suns were blown out. Today's
no,
game.
no. I'm saying that everyone thought the Suns were it was gonna be a sweep.
no, the Bucks
No.
weren't doing well in
Only
the
the-
playoffs.
Only the most like avid Suns fans thought it would be a sweep. Like the Bucks have been doing basically the Bucks have been the most resilient team in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they've
In that,
always
like,
been
they-
like they're like bad, and then all of a sudden they're good. Like they weren't the Bucks the ones who blew out the Nets.
They didn't blow out the Nets.
I thought
But
they
they
did,
beat-
where it was like
no,
an
they
embarrassing
beat-
game, one of those series.
Oh well, they had one game, yeah, where
Yeah.
they beat the shit out of them. Absolutely, yeah. But then similarly, like both teams have basically done this where they've kind of like minus 1 round for each. For the Bucks, it was the first round with the Heat where they beat them in 5, and for the Suns, it was the second round against Utah where I think they swept them.
I could be wrong because we were like we had shit service and like shit Wi-Fi, so we were trying to watch the playoffs upstate, and like we would catch some games and some not. It was weird, but didn't the Hawks almost beat the Bucks, or do I have that wrong?
Yeah, they played really well, but both Giannis and Trae Young got hurt that series.
Gotcha.
So it was like when they were both playing, like the Hawks had I think one maybe 2 games where they like did really well, which was for them they were the surprise of this year's playoffs. Like more so than most years have surprises. Like the Hawks came through in ways that no one pictured that they would. But they it's not surprising that they lost to the Bucks because the Bucks eventually did play to their strengths. Even with Giannis being out, eventually they figured out like, oh, if we just, bottle up Trae Young, the Hawks don't have any offense besides him. So
I was gonna say, is Giannis like the next LeBron? Is he the guy?
No, I don't think so. He's great. He's a great player. I just don't think that he's on the caliber to be in that conversation.
Do they have their guy lined up?
At least not yet. Yeah. At least not yet.
Well, here's what I'll say about Giannis is he definitely has that potential because he's a big dude who doesn't get hurt a lot, which is very important for big men. Like his injury this playoffs, it was one that basically some people are out for like a whole year on. Like,
but look at somebody like my boy Klay Thompson, who
hasn't played for 3 years.
No, but he barely ever got injured. And then he got injured badly.
But he's also a smaller guy. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's a bit like the types of injuries are a bit different.
Yeah.
Like big men oftentimes it's in their feet and their ankles where like just because of so much pressure they're putting on.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
But so like smaller guys I think have more of a tendency because they don't put that same pressure when they get hurt. It's more often knee shit or elbow shit.
Yeah.
Because of their style of play. So it's a little bit more stressful. But he hasn't played for like 3 years. He's probably just
he's just coming back. He's coming back. He's on the court. I follow him intensively. I love him. He's my favorite player. He's coming back. He'll be fine.
No, I'm hoping Klay. I'm hoping because he was a fantastic player. Like just pretty much just as good of a shooter as Curry, if not as dynamic a shooter.
See, here's the thing. I'm gonna get hate for this, maybe, possibly. I don't know. But
he's watching.
I know, but
yeah, Klay's watching. He's gonna at you.
No, not him. I think Steph Curry has more range, but I think overall Klay is a better shooter.
I think you're wrong.
I like it's.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
There's differences in that like Curry makes a lot more dynamic looking shots. Curry's able to do like as far as like a pure jump shooter, you might be right, like a catch and shoot type guy.
Yeah, Klay don't dribble. He doesn't fucking dribble.
Curry is much more able to get his shot off the dribble.
Yeah,
like, and that's
in terms of accuracy. I think I gotta give it to Klay though. Like accuracy,
it might be like that true jump shot kind of shit. Yeah, but as far as overall, like.
Yeah, Curry's incredible, and the shit that he could do is ridiculous as far as shooting goes. I think he's like the best shooter of all time. But Klay is right there.
Yeah, I don't think it's
right there.
It's almost inarguable for Curry to say he's not. If he's not the best, he's in second place. Like,
but if he's not the best, who is? Like, who could you possibly say is better than him? I just think Klay's more accurate, but I think like overall, Curry's definitely a better shooter.
I don't have an argument for someone else.
Yeah.
All the arguments for someone else is era based, where it's like, oh, you can say things about like Reggie Miller or Ray Allen, where it's like they just didn't live up in an era that let them shoot the amount of times as Steph Curry. And so like
I thought you said Arab. I thought you said Arab based, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Era, but. So you can make arguments for people, but it's purely based on the pre 3-point revolution. At this point, it's like Steph Curry he's fantastic.
Yeah,
he's
I also
great.
feel like
he
all
has
those
kind
people...
of shitty ankles, but he's great.
Yeah, I think like Reggie Miller and Ray Allen though. I think they're more like Klay. Like
absolutely, they were spot up guys.
Yeah.
Reggie was closer. Ray was like a pure spot up. Reggie could do shit for himself like Steph, though not the same level. He doesn't have the same handles as Steph.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steph is one
of a kind.
One of one, yeah. Like for certain. But Klay, Klay probably I think has more big games when he like catches on fire and stuff
Oh
does.
yeah, I'll never forget that fucking 60 points in 3 quarters or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, he scored like 25 or 30 points in 1 quarter. That was insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
But yeah. what were we talking
I think
about?
Eric's question was more about, is Giannis going to be the next LeBron? But it's more so, you know what it is? The answer to the question is if he can withstand, like if he can withhold throughout multiple years, because that's what it is with LeBron and Jordan, right? It's like they've always been good. They've never gotten bad throughout their career. And I think
they never
that's
really,
more
like,
what it is.
It's up until like this past year. The past 3 years, LeBron has had his first 2 injuries that actually gave him timeout.
Mm-hmm.
And
he
he's also
hasn't
in
even
his
played
late.
bad though.
Yeah, like when he returns, he's not like
He's not
bad.
trash. Yeah.
I mean, they won like the first year with the Lakers. He got hurt on Christmas Day, I think, and then that he was out for just forever.
Was
And
that
then
so that you could go home early on Christmas Day?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they were just beating up the Warriors before he got hurt. It's fine.
Don't do that.
But it was yeah, so like then the next year he won a championship, and then this year AD was hurt like the entire year, and then he got hurt like just a bad step on a defensive play from someone else. Just he landed on their foot off a dribble and it fucked up his like knee. I don't know if it was his knee, but
He pulled a Connor.
Oh my god.
Not quite as bad as pulling a Connor.
Fucking
but
hell.
like this was still at least someone else's fault. Connor looks like he broke his own damn ankle, but like
Connor,
definitely did break his own ankle.
Connor ruined his career.
He broke his own ankle.
Connor has been ruining his career ever since the Floyd fight.
He
Like,
just
I think
looked
that was
like
the last
such a
time anyone
baby.
cared about him.
Yeah,
And then
that's
every
true.
other fight that's happened since that, he's either lost or like just. I mean, he's probably lost all of them.
He won 1 since the Floyd fight,
Wonderful.
but he's only had like 3 fights since then. So he won 1 out of 3 fights since Floyd. So 1 out of 4 in the last like 4 years.
So he's a 25% boxer in the past 4 years.
I got a
Or
fighting
fighter.
question. I have a fighting question. Who do you think's gonna win? Tyron Woodley or Jake Paul?
Wait. Oh.
I hope Tyron Woodley.
I think he's
Yeah.
gonna win because I watched their press conference last night, and Jake Paul had this like script. He had this like script. You can tell it was a script that he was trying to follow, and like Tyron would fuck him up sometimes. But he at one point Jake said something about his kids, and the interviewer then asked, "What do you expect to see in the fight? What do you expect in the fight?" And he was just like, "Violence." Dead violence. And I was like, oh shit, he done pissed the wrong motherfucker off.
I honestly don't know, because I mean, Tyrone has never been a very exciting fighter, which is why he wasn't very liked in
His
the
name's
UFC.
not Tyrone.
Tyrone Woodley.
It's Tyron.
What did
Or
I just say?
Tyron. I think it's Tyron.
It's Tyrone Woodley.
You almost had me there for a second, but it might be Tyron. Definitely not Tyrone though, because he said
In
that
Jake
was
Paul's
another
fight
thing
against
in
Tyrion Lannister, he will lose.
Yeah, I think Tyrion still wins. Yeah,
sorry, what were you saying? Go ahead.
I saw one thing a few weeks ago when Jake was like, if you really think you're gonna beat me, then put up. He's like, I don't know, I forgot what he said. He's like, if you win, I'll give you twice the amount of your purse, but if you lose, you get nothing. How confident are you that you're gonna win? And like Tyron kind of had like nothing really to say to that.
They did the same thing though last night, and he took the bet.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm saying. I think
he had a month to think about his response.
he had a month
Well,
to
but,
train.
like-
I think it's gonna be if nothing else, it's gonna be a really good fight. That's what I think. And I just hope Jake Paul gets knocked out.
I mean, it would be interesting if Jake won. This
is my thing though.
Everyone wants to see him get knocked out, but I if anyone's gonna knock him out, I don't want it to be Woodley.
Well, this is my thing. Here's my thing, right? he keeps claiming like, oh, I'm a pro boxer, I'm this, I'm that. I would be interested in him if he was fighting in the cruiserweight division for boxing. Like, I would be interested in his run. And he's like, he makes the claim like, oh, well, professional boxers box washed up boxers. Yeah, but they're boxing boxers, right? So like, he's a joke at this point. You can't go claiming like, oh, I'm a professional boxer and you're knocking out UFC guys. Like, go in the octagon with them then.
Yeah, but he's not.
You know?
He's not gonna make. He's gonna make much more money fighting UFC guys in a
That's
boxing
not true.
ring
That's
than
not
he
true.
would than he would go against a bunch of cruiserweights for like the next 5 years.
That's not true.
Like the only
That's
big
not true
fights-
because Jake still has the Jake Paul name. So no matter who he fights, people are gonna want to see him get knocked out. People are gonna tune in to see him get knocked out.
right, but he's gonna make much more money if he's going against a known UFC fighter.
Why do you think he would make more money going against a known UFC fighter, even if versus
Because-
going against a boxer?
Because it's cross promotion as opposed to just keeping it.
Not
into this
really. Who
one-
the fuck knew who Tyron Woodley was before Jake Paul?
I did. Everyone who watches UFC knows who Woodley is. He was a champion for like 3-4 years. He
Understood,
just retired
but-
last year.
Yeah, but like, I don't watch UFC.
Yeah.
I watch boxing. I don't watch UFC. And then I look him up. I think Jake gives these fighters more publicity for UFC than he does for, like, he's doing more for the UFC than he is
I
for
mean, that's-
boxing.
That's why they do it.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But I just think Jake Paul's name, no matter who he fights, he's going to bring in money.
I just don't think it'll be the same amount of money.
You know what? If they really wanted some publicity, they should just go and like pull the Jake Paul stunt and be like, let's go fight in that Japan's suicide forest.
That would be so
the,
funny.
The Logan Paul.
That was Logan Paul? I
Yeah.
don't fucking know. The Paul brothers are both idiots.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So anyway,
Clear your throat.
Jake was right. Last week, he mentioned that at the end of Loki, they would introduce the big villain for the next Avengers movie, and I didn't watch it, but apparently that's what they did. I don't know if it was the villain that he said it would be, but I guess you
Seems
can
to be
clarify.
This seems to be the consensus. In the episode itself, they don't call him Kang the Conqueror, but he says people have called me a conqueror. So basically, what
Oh,
happens
you hear his voice, and you see him.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I actually can't wait to see what this actor does because the version he plays. So getting into the episode, at the end of the previous one, they found the spot. It's what do they call it? Like the chapel at the end of time or something like that.
Okay.
And Loki and Sylvie go up. They find the guy, the clock lady, the digital clock lady that sporadically appears throughout the show. Tries to convince them not to do it. He's like, they'll offer you these things if you'll turn back now, basically. And it's like happy lives, what you've dreamed of and shit, like turning down temptation type of thing. And so they deny it. They go further. Door opens. Guys behind it. Straight up is just this jovial dude. Like,
This is at the very end of the episode, or
this is at the very beginning of the episode where they meet
Really?
him. The
that's
episode
cool.
centers around meeting him. They meet him pretty early, within the first, I think, 10 minutes. And then big conversations talking about the timeline and its importance and why he's done it. It does basically confirm that the origin story of the TVA is by and large true. There was a multi-universal war, and this is just the guy that won it, basically.
okay.
And so the reason that he like does all this shit with the timelines is to prevent variants of himself from appearing. So the big thing that happened, like, it's just like it's all the other timelines get pruned is like the series term, so that he remains the only one of him, because he is the one, a scientist from like the 31st century, I think they say. He is the one that discovers multiple universes.
Okay.
And so he discovers that he finds different versions of himself. They communicate and all that shit, but eventually a war starts out because further off variants of him only see this like their discovery. They all make the discovery, but some of them of himself only see the discovery as an opportunity to conquer. So he finds Eliath, the big fog monster that kills everything, and ends the war with the power of Eliath, with all that, like, starts the TVA to make sure that no other versions of him besides him currently show up. And he offers Loki and Sylvie to take over for him, to literally be in charge of it all.
So that they can avoid any variants of themselves from...
No, just to take over. Like, he's basically just like...
To keep the timeline the way that it is.
Yeah, for them to make the decisions, for them to do these things that he's been doing. And his reason is just straight up just like, I've been doing it so long. I'm old. I'm way older than I look. I'm tired. And you get, like, he does point out, like, everything that you guys have done up to this point. I know it. He proves that he basically knows everything to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it. I paved your way here because I've been searching for someone to replace me. It turns out it's two people. And then at some point in the episode, they hit the moment where he doesn't know what's going to happen. So, like, all of his power, like, and there's moments throughout it where, like, Sylvie and Loki attack him, and he, like, just evades them wildly. Like, back and forth, they can't lay a finger on him because he already knows what's going to happen.
Right.
Predetermined, all that shit.
So now why are they trying to attack him, though?
Well, that's been the quest. For Sylvie, it's been the quest to kill the person at the top.
Oh, I see. So, and Loki's just going along with it because he's friends with her at this point.
Well, his initial goal was to take over.
Uh-huh.
Throughout the series, he's kind of changed. Like, the point of the series is him changing as a person and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But so he's done that. The big fight is not between them and him. He's just acts as an observer. The big fight is between themselves, where Sylvie still wants to kill him, and Loki expresses, like, the idea of caution. He doesn't necessarily want to be the person in charge,
mm-hmm.
he says, but he doesn't, like, basically the guy says, if you kill me and you don't take over, then you're, like, it's not going to literally kill me. All it's going to do is allow the different versions of me to start existing.
Right.
So it's like, and not all of them are so, and I think he sends a warning. It's like, and not all of them are so understanding as I am.
Mm-hmm.
So the big fight between Sylvie and Loki, all that shit goes down. Loki eventually gets tricked, sent out of the room. He doesn't die. He gets sent out of the area by Sylvie, and she kills him. So, like, Loki feels betrayed. Like, it's super sad ending. Like, and it does the end of it does confirm a season 2, but it is still, like, sad as fuck. All the character progression for Loki to kind of just end up as nothing, because like, Sylvie basically betrays him because she can't get over her quest for revenge.
Yeah.
And then so he gets sent back to the TVA. He walks out of the room. He eventually spots Owen Wilson's character, Mobius. He goes up to him, starts explaining all the things that happened, only to then be confronted with the realization that he's not even talking to the Owen Wilson of the timeline
that he's been with.
Yeah, it's a different Mobius who's never met him. And so the series ends with, once again, Loki being alone, which they've kind of confirmed throughout the entire series is, like, the last thing he wants to fucking be.
Right.
So it's like he's made all this progress. Sad. Yeah, it's a really well-written show. He made all this, like, he finally made some friends. He did all these things. He did the best he could, and he still ends up alone.
And he loses the love interest that he had for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still alive, but...
They vaguely confirm that she isn't a Loki. which vaguely it's still up in the air. But I'm just because for episode 2 or 3, whichever one we talked about for first, I threw up the theory that she's Enchantress, a different character that was like part of Loki's story. They still haven't said that for certain, but she does say that she is not one of, she says, I'm not you again. And she spent a whole lot of time saying that she doesn't want to be called a Loki. So I do think that part of her story is that.
So it does leave open the possibility that there is another Loki that is a girl, a woman outside of her.
So like, yeah, so I think, and they've still left it vague pretty much as to whether or not she's actually like female Loki.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great.
Wait, so
really well
she's
written.
Loki's love interest and she's also possibly a female Loki?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, from the very beginning of the series, there's several different Lokis.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but I'm just I gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's either a very on the nose metaphor of self-love and like learning to accept yourself, or as my theory is, she's not actually a Loki.
Gotcha.
But they've basically just left that up in the air still. They haven't confirmed one or the other. But at the very end of the credits, they do confirm a season 2. So it's going to be the one Marvel TV show that gets a season 2, apparently.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw that it gets a season 2, and then I thought immediately of you because we were talking about how I think you said you thought it would only be one season, right?
Well, that's because the other ones are only one season.
Yeah. I think.
So yeah, it was just because straight up I thought it would be one season and it would be introducing the multiverse, introducing the big bad, which, oh yeah, that's the other thing. He realized that he's in an alternate timeline, or he's not in the same timeline, because the statues in the TVA are now no longer of the Time Lords, which were like fake, but they're of the guy that he saw at the end of time. So he's now,
which was the Conqueror.
Yeah, so which is now, I think, the Conqueror. The guy that previous is like just the variant that won the original multiversal war.
Okay. So now he's basically.
But now it's he hid behind symbolism of the timekeepers and all that shit. And now we're facing a guy who's like, no, I'm the fucking winner. Like, it's a difference of like the aesthetic choice of those statues is like a person who doesn't want to be known versus a person who like wants the glory. And I think that's the important distinction.
So basically we got she's the reason that we're getting this evil villain, pretty much.
Basically speaking, though there'll probably be a point made at some point that it was an inevitability, because the dude was running it forever, and at a certain point he only knew up to a certain point of what was going to happen.
Right.
But he knew the two Lokis would come. He knew all their actions that would take place up to a certain point, and then he didn't know anything beyond that.
I mean, it's good that they threw that in there, because I was gonna say, well, how doesn't he know that like he's gonna be the big bad and he's gonna be going against the Avengers in 3 years from now? How wouldn't he know that? But if they have that information in this episode, then it kind of like,
and it's not straight up him. As the same way that this Loki is not the one that technically died in what the fuck, the first Thanos Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But like, because
Endgame.
Endgame. So he's not the same Loki. He's a variant from the first Avengers movies that broke out of the prison. So it's not the same Loki that we're used to. It's a different Loki, surrounded by different Lokis. But
so it looks like is season 2 gonna be all about the Conqueror, and then they bring him in as the big bad, or are they gonna do? I mean, like, how do they go about it?
I think honestly, they might choose, because he's already been confirmed as the villain of the next Ant-Man movie, and he
Wait,
might be the villain. Huh?
Don't even tell me. There's another Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's already confirmed.
So wait, it's confirmed that Kang the Conqueror is the villain in Ant-Man?
Yeah, that's been confirmed for a minute. What this opens it up to, and then also the next Doctor Strange movie is about the multiverse.
Multiverses, yeah.
So what this really opens it up to is...
But so is...
individual Avengers fighting versions of this guy, but then there being one that they have to team up for.
That's kind of cool.
Maybe as a result, like, of their own actions, basically, against these other versions.
I guess the only issue would be, like, are we really going to do the same villain in all these movies? I don't think they're going to go that far.
Well, it wouldn't... You don't have to make it the same guy. One, like, there's a female Loki. There's also, like, one Loki that was, like, a fucking alligator. Like... You don't have to make it straight up the exact same dude, and it would also be 2 movies and a television show.
I meant Kang the Conqueror. I thought you were saying Kang the Conqueror would be spread out in between these.
Yeah. Well, I'd say they'd all be variants of.
Kang. I see, and then there would be
like one that spans more than that.
Because so he doesn't even technically have to look like this guy.
Yeah, I think he will. I think the teaser in Loki, the statues looked like this guy. So the big, like, I think he will be the same actor that played this one will play the biggest version of that villain.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's the one that debuts in Ant-Man or whatever, if it's a variant of him.
It might. I feel like they'll probably have this villain in, and then in the after credits, he'll be like, some say I'm a conqueror or some shit. Like, people will kind of just like get. Or they'll do a few movies where it's like, okay, which one's the real one kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is like that's what I was thinking is they might fight variants of him of who the big bad is before they actually get to that, or they might just get experience with him, like just because they fight one version, they kind of learn of the multiverse and they learn of this one dude that is basically the one that's succeeding the most amongst all of them. That's trying to write a universe in which he is basically the god of, which is Kong's story.
But now, if they've done this thing now where they're now in a different universe, could it be a universe where some of the characters who've died are still alive, or is there something explaining why those characters would still be dead? Did that make any sense? What I just said?
No, I think I just don't know what their plans are. So it's hard
I would imagine they have a rule in place where those characters are just staying dead. But
well, I think basically all of our main heroes are still going to be from the same universe.
Okay.
Which is, I think, now that this has happened, I think the Spider-Man movie is going to open up, meeting new Spider-Man and all the shit. But I don't think that's something they're going to repeat. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of Thors or a bunch of Hulks. Like, I think maybe 1 or 2 will be peppered in throughout the rest of shit just to stir up confusion or something. But I don't think it's going to be like every movie is going to be Spider-Man where we connect the other universes because those movies already existed. It's kind of easy to do it for Spider-Man.
Well, the thing is they're going to do it with Spider-Man, and then they're going to do it with Doctor Strange, because the whole point. But
Doctor Strange already had the ability to
do that.
Yeah, because in Endgame he talks about he traversed like so many different potential futures and stuff like that.
I just worry that it'll get super convoluted, being that Loki's whole story is about multiverses, and then Spider-Man, the next movie, is about to be about multiverses and several different Spider-Man, and people just being confused as fuck. Now that you're telling me all this, I have a feeling that Spider-Man is just going to be like, these are just going to be cameos. It's not going to be like this convoluted thing where all the Spider-Men are fighting together kind of thing to defeat all the bad. I mean, maybe that'd be kind of cool if if all the Spider-Man teamed up and they all teamed up to fight against all the villains from all previous films.
Yeah, I would watch that.
So I don't know. Maybe it's either cameos or they're all in the entire movie. I'm not against. I mean, I'm kind of against cameo. I feel like they should just go all out, like have them in it. Or maybe just.
I think they still could go all out. I don't think that's that difficult of a premise to be like, this is how the multiverse overlaps in the Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what we might see is, I mean, I don't know about Love and Thunder. That doesn't seem to be like what's happening in that one. But it wouldn't be surprising if
Love and
happened
Thunder
in a lot of them was the initial experience of a multiversal event for most of these characters.
Yeah, I don't think Love and Thunder is well. Yeah, how do they? I don't know. Love and Thunder is after Spider-Man and after Doctor Strange or before Doctor Strange?
Well, when it comes out, doesn't necessarily
right, because it could be
reflect on its timeline.
It could be any point in the timeline.
Yeah, that's why people make those convoluted things online where it's like, if you want to watch the Avengers, if you want to watch all the Marvel
watch it in this order,
chronological order, you have to watch. Even though Iron Man's the first one that came out, technically you have to watch Captain America first,
right? Because this was in 19 fucking.
Yeah, this sets up this far. Like it gets stupid and convoluted. So they don't release them in chronological order. So I can't actually say.
Yeah, but I would also watch it and. I wouldn't watch it in chronological order anyway, because like
I don't care enough.
It just gets
as much as I seem like I know what's going on. I haven't seen most of these movies. Like I want to emphasize that right now. A lot of this is speculation and just the limited things that I have seen, drawing on what they are.
You heard it here first. Jake doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He's just a professional waffler.
A waffler.
A waffler? I don't waffle.
That's
I have conviction on my predictions.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch superhero stuff unless it's for the podcast. So and I've been gone for a month, so I haven't seen Loki. So it's like you guys could literally say anything, and I would have no idea if it was true or not.
Loki's dead. Loki died, and Robert Downey Jr. is coming back.
None of that is true. I think the whole reason why they're not making multiverses with other characters is. Specifically because they don't have the ability to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. So I think the reason why
Pops died, man.
I mean, he also I think was done.
Yeah, he's done.
I think he also, even if that hadn't been the case, I think Robert Downey Jr. would just wanted to be over the Marvel shit.
Like
I don't blame him.
Like good old Hugh Jackman.
I say bring him back in like 20 years. Everyone gets hyped.
20 years.
How old is Robert Downey? 40? 50?
No, he's got to be older than 40. He's got to be.
Yeah, he's got to be 50.
All right, bring him back in like 10 years.
He was an actor in the late 80s, early 90s. So yeah.
Whatever. I don't know his career.
All right, we're at hour 15. So.
Okay.
Do you have you have one last thing you want to talk about, or?
It's all superhero related. Now that I'm looking at it.
Jess, you have anything non-superhero related?
Are we testing out this trailer idea?
No. No, we're not.
We are not.
For the last couple minutes.
I've actually also just been like setting my alarm and checking how long it's going to take me to get to work tomorrow. So.
Oh,
damn, that's true. I do have to be there at 7, which means I have to leave at 6:30, which means I have to set my alarm for 5.
Yep, it's going to take me an hour and 15 minutes.
It takes me an hour and a half to hear the alarm.
Jesus.
We live rough lives. Jess, what's your schedule next week?
Honestly,
are we gonna record this? Is this gonna be part of the podcast?
All right, what's my schedule next week?
No. What's okay? What do we got?
I
What do
work
we got?
Tuesday just in case, and then I'm done. Unless,
No. Okay.
well, oh no, I'm lying. I'm working with Jordan, Eric, on the 24th and the 25th.
Fuck Jordan.
So.
Jordan won't come on the podcast. I don't know.
He
No,
would
he
if
won't.
we asked, actually, because well, I'll explain it after the podcast.
Anyway, all right. Margot Robbie, she's sick of being Harley Quinn. What do we do? Do we care?
Not really.
No.
No, actually, I do care because I like her a lot, and I don't think that I don't think I'll like anybody else playing her. But
Well, she's not sick of being Harley Quinn. She just said she needs a break.
oh, if she just needs a break, then give her the break because it's not worth recasting anyone, in my opinion.
I don't think I don't think she wants to be recast. I think she's just saying she's fucking tired of doing the shit for the last like year or so.
She's
2
been Harley
years.
Quinn for more. Yeah.
I was just
more
gonna
than
say,
that.
has she actually
Well, I just meant-
though been filming Harley Quinn? She's had a.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's no, because then they did the reboot. Then she had her own movie, and then they did they did Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Suicide Quad, the college version of Suicide Squad.
And then they did Harley Quinn the movie by herself.
Yeah, Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. Nobody talks about that either. And then they made
The best part of Birds of Prey is a description of an egg sandwich.
Wait, I didn't.
That's why no one talks about it.
I didn't even notice. I had no idea they even did a Harley Quinn movie. I would have watched that.
There's a reason.
There was no promo for that shit.
Oh no, there was a lot of promo. No one
a lot.
No
I
one
missed
went
it.
and saw the movie.
Yeah,
Nobody.
I missed it. I would.
I heard it was okay though. They tried. I heard.
Yeah, I would have.
I heard they tried.
Oh,
Did
what I'm
Schneider
saying
do
is
it?
No.
It's
Thank
too
God.
bright for Snyder. They actually have like colors in it. But
Snyder actually lights my room before every podcast.
That makes a lot of sense.
and then you change it. Why would you change it? He's a genius. Making
an
a
asset.
I
5-hour movie.
unintentionally have teal in the background, and like my light is kind of tungsten. So there you go.
We got the Snyder lighting over here. I think we should light everything in a soft blue. Whenever we're live, everything should look like it's in
Yeah,
the Snyderverse.
Jess, make it happen. Hopefully next week we can
Get
be
me
live.
some light.
No?
I gotcha.
If we can brand hold for everything to be in the Snyderverse, there'll be a bunch of fanboys who are obligated to like us.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you think we can be like canon in the Snyderverse?
No.
Yeah, I don't see why
hope
not.
not.
We can be the J. Jonah Jamesons of
I don't
the
want to be.
Snyderverse.
That's why.
Yo, your shirt actually matches the lighting behind you.
It does. Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at
I didn't
it.
do that on purpose, but
No, but
okay.
because you mentioned it. All right. So anyway, Harley Quinn, give her a break. Well, she's probably not. She's gonna get a break because
The whole fucking universe is getting rebooted.
the whole shit's getting rebooted, and they're trying to go the whole Disney route because John Cena's getting his own TV show as Peacemaker.
Oh, did you see they're making a G.I. Joe universe?
I saw they're making. Oh, is that why they're coming out with a new G.I. Joe movie?
Yeah, they're coming out with
So
Snake
weird.
Eyes specifically.
Dude, was that always the plan? I feel like that was always the plan.
Was it? How long? It's been forever since the G.I. Joe movie.
Oh no,
came
that
out.
wasn't always the plan. That's where I said
What
that they
about
should.
G.I. Jane? What about G.I. Jane? What about her?
That's sexist. Nobody
What
wants to
about
see that.
her?
Unless
Is
they're
she
gonna.
not par-
I
Is
love
she
how you
not
call.
part of?
I love how he calls me sexist and goes, "Nobody wants to see that."
Unless they're
Well,
gonna
but,
sell
like-
tickets for 77 cents, I don't want to see it.
Jesus Christ! What a bold way to end the show.
You get it?
No.
Did you get it?
No, I missed it. It
70
flew
cents to
over
the
my-
dollar. Got him. All right,
This has
so
been the Hold for Everything podcast.
we don't want to talk about John Cena playing the Peacemaker.
No, it's an hour 20. You have to wake up in 3 hours, Eric,
I'm
according to
definitely
you.
I also have to drive the entire crew to set, and I'm gonna probably be late. So
So yeah, let's close this.
I know, but I'm so sad though.
Why? We're going to do it again next week.
I know, but I miss you guys. I
If
get
he
very-
if he doesn't take us out, I'll just end the meeting for everyone.
Oh no!
That's fair enough.
It just cuts off.
Yeah.
It just goes to Jonathan going, "Sup, bitch."
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, technically I already rolled us out, so we'd be fine. In any
Right?
moment to
Yeah,
end this.
exactly.
All right, this is the Hope for Everything podcast. Thanks for watching this episode where we didn't talk about film whatsoever. We talked about the next
Yes,
LeBron.
we did.
We did. Oh no, we literally talked about film. You're right. That's it. That's all I got. Don't go to Texas.
Life advice.
Life advice. You guys got any life advice before we head out? Other than don't listen to Eric.
Don't drop the soap.
Don't drop the soap unless you're into that sort of thing, or unless that's your only option. Which I'm a few days away from dropping the soap.
What?
I don't know what that meant. I don't know. I'm doing fine, guys. Okay.
Okay.
I'm doing great.
Bye.
Eric's a few days away from dropping the soap. Is where we're gonna end this.
Yes. Perfect.
Can we title the episode "Drop the Soap"?
Sure.
Or
Sup, bitch?